Stacie Granum, she's the Executive Vice President of Sales and Marketing for Visit Rapid City. With over 17 years of marketing and advertising experience, Stacie leads Visit Rapid City sales and marketing team to inspire and influence travel to Rapid City. She has spearheaded award-winning campaigns to include content and digital strategies, as well as various guerrilla marketing initiatives. Prior to joining her Visit Rapid City team, Stacie spent 8 years with a local advertising agency developing strategic marketing plans for various industries throughout Rapid City and the Black Hills region. She currently sits on the Black Hills and Badlands Tourism Association Board of Directors, is a Leadership Rapid City Class of 2014 graduate, which is my class, best class ever, and works closely with many area hospitality organizations and community leaders to do big things for Rapid City. Our other speaker is Susan Johnson. Susan Johnson directed the startup and currently manages Black Hills Vacations, a state-of-the-art voice and web-based reservation service for Western South Dakota. Susan manages a staff of 10, answers to 20-member board of directors, and serves over 200 visitor industry suppliers. Previously, Susan was the executive director of South Dakota Parks and Wildlife Foundation, where she managed fundraising campaigns for the George S. Mickelson Trail, the Fort Sisseton Historic Park, the Sioux Falls Outdoor Campus, and the Adams Homestead and Nature Preserve in North Sioux City, and served as the Secretary of Department of Tourism for Governors Janklow, Mickelson, and Miller. With that, let's give it up for Stacie and for Susan. Thank you. So with that, you guys can go ahead and just give us a couple of minutes about whatever you feel is important for us to know about the industry, and then we will open it up for question and answers.
Should we flip a coin? No. I was saying earlier how this is a great combination in the sense that Stacie does the marketing, and our role in the industry is to catch them once they've made this decision or are thinking about coming to South Dakota. And with our call center and with our online booking services, we are able to facilitate a lot of what the marketing people in all of the state of South Dakota are doing, including the Department of Tourism. And so, as an example, with the Department of Tourism, you know, they have a $14 or $15 million budget. Wonderful. Huge. And so when they are marketing, and one of their marketing tools, of course, is that old-fashioned South Dakota Vacation Guide. I say old-fashioned because people actually still to this day call or go online and order this book. Yep. And it gets mailed to them. And you know, and once in a and you'll see that, you know, you'll be walking in the parking. I'm a parking lot person because I like to see where the cars are coming from. So you'll be walking through parking lots like Reptile Gardens or Mount Rushmore, and you'll see the South Dakota Vacation Guide on the dash, and I go, this is so amazing. People still do this. Mm-hmm. And so we answer those calls for the South Dakota Department of Tourism. So oftentimes we're their first touch when people are planning a trip. But truly, we wouldn't have a handle on anybody if it weren't for the people who are doing the marketing. And Rapid City does a phenomenal job. We started this 21 years ago. I can't even believe it. And when we started this, nobody was doing this. The airlines had a reservation service. But our software company they were out there in front, and you know, I look back and I go, oh my gosh, you know, we had an integrated system with our phone and our kind of a booking engine, but it's evolved, and to the point now, of course, our competition. Somebody asked me when I walked in, "Oh, you guys are like VRBO?" I go, "Yeah, except they're our competition." and they are top of mind. And Hotels.com, top of mind. Expedia, top of mind, because they have worldwide presence. And I go, oh, how does anybody even find us anymore? So that's a quick overview of our Black Hills Vacations.
And for Visit Rapid City, you know, it all works together. There's so many great organizations, but we are a destination marketing organization for Rapid City. So our main goal is to try to attract people to the area. Mount Rushmore, Crazy Horse, and then the beautiful Rapid City in our downtown and all the attractions we have here. So, and it all impacts, you know, the economy in so many different ways. And so we're working together with other partners throughout the community in the Black Hills to try to find ways to bring people here together. We have large marketing campaigns as well. And we also on staff, we have a staff of about, what's usually 12, and right now it's 11. But we have a marketing team that works, and we have a lot of in-house social media, email, website, all of that stuff. And then we also have a strong sales staff too that not only works with the tourists and the people interested in coming for family vacations or weekend getaways, but also for those planners for meetings and conventions, which huge economic impact for the area. And so we have staff dedicated to working with those people throughout the community to bring those large groups to town. We also have somebody that works with a lot of the group tour and the motor coach, the buses. Try to working with those tour operators to get those people interested, and we kind of plant the seed, like Susan was saying, with our advertising and with our outreach, and we travel to different communities to travel shows and try to sell the area and get them interested in coming. So there's many different layers. It's not just about the tourists. We've got meetings and conventions. We also have sporting events. We work with different groups to bring big sporting events to town. Next week there's one, Rocky Mountain Nationals, a big wrestling event. I don't know if anybody's a wrestler or has children that are wrestlers, but that's one that we have been working on probably for the last 5 to 6 years, just to get them to come to the area. So, and it's going to have a huge impact on the economy. And then we also work with the different bus groups too, to try to encourage them to bring their buses, their big bus loads to town and to the Black Hills and come into our businesses and spend their money. And so that's a little bit about Visit Rapid City. We're just constantly evolving, like, you know, I mean, with the booking engines and the Airbnbs and the vacation rentals, you know, our funding is through the hotel bid tax. So it's a business improvement district tax. So there's a $2 tax on every room night per night. So, and then we also collect the BBB tax, which is the bed, board, and booze tax. And so that's how we're funded, and our primary role is to promote Rapid City, to bring people here for that experience.
So your hotels pay that tax, yet the VRBOs do not.
They collect it.
They do collect it now, yeah.
Airbnb does. They are required to now. There's some VRBOs and that do not yet.
Right.
So, like Susan said, it's kind of competition because we want those funds so that we can promote the area and bring more people to town, to spend money in our restaurants and our stores and in our attractions and stuff like that. So it's interesting, but it's evolving. Airbnb does collect that tax now, the BBB tax, and I think a lot of other communities and destinations, organizations like ours are really fighting to collect that tax because it's, you know, people from coming out of town paying these taxes, so it's actually saving everybody money because they spend money in our stores and our restaurants and pay that tax that stays here in the community.
And you know, the VRBOs, they've had an impact on the hotel industry. I mean, they really have. When you look at the occupancy rates, and because that's, you know, just talk to your friends. I mean, in casual conversations, they're planning their trip and they're looking for a VRBO or some home rental. I mean, it's really a rage. And then how the industry, I think, is coming to the table. And I love it, some of the hotels here in Rapid City, because they're the extended stays, so they're offering families, you know, people want separate bedrooms and they want more than one bathroom, and they're coming to a destination. And so Rapid City has done a great job with some of their hotels, their extended stay hotels, and we love that because our commitment in our company, our commitment truly are to those people who are paying the taxes and they're involved in this industry. We have people all the time call us and want us to put their home rental on our system, and it's just not our thing. We'll do it for the rally, but you know, our commitment is to take care of the people who are contributing to this industry, and that's where we're at. And it is a big issue, I know, but in Deadwood, which is where our office is, the city has a rule against you can't rent out through any of these companies, and it's a problem in Deadwood because 36% of the homes in Deadwood are vacation homes. Wow. So that is that's a huge impact on a number of things. It keeps Deadwood from really having a community. Mm-hmm. You know, like if you go to Sturgis, that's a community when you go to Sturgis. When you go to Spearfish, it's a community. Deadwood is more people drive in, do their job, and then go their separate ways, go home. But anyway, that's the VRBOs and the hotels.com are our competition, and we will get calls from people. They'll be going, I need to cancel my reservation, and I don't know how to get a hold of whomever they canceled with or booked with, and I'll try to help them, and I'll try to help them dig through whatever they're looking at so they can get to the person. But it's a complicated world for these for people planning trips. Which brings me to, as far as, when I say how do we compete, there's only one way we do. And it is truly a trend in the travel industry, and it's personalization. And it's the unique. And it's like the Silver Lining Vintage company that you have. That is something unique. And not everybody will know about that. And when I think about the unique things there are to do in the Black Hills, and it's so much fun to help people find those unique things. And it's not just the things to do, it's those amazing restaurants that we have. Just as an example, but the unique, on my to-do list right now are some of the things I'm working with. I'm working with these gentlemen that travel the world, and they hike. And they go all over the world hiking. And a friend of mine in Rapid City that owns a hotel sent them to my office a couple of weeks ago because they're planning this year's hike. And they will be here for 12 days. And I'm not only putting their rooms together because they'll be moving around, I'll do the airline ticket, they will get a car, but I will plan every one of their hikes. And I can do that because I'm a hiker, and I know where the hikes are, and they specifically tell me how many miles they want to do a day, and I am planning their daily hikes, plus a few side things I want them to do, and then I'll tell them what restaurants to go to. And that is the personalization that we bring to the table. And there's just been a lot of change over the years since I've been in this business. The mom and dad and the family going on a vacation, it's just so changed. It's grandma and grandpa taking their grandkids. It's the mom and dad taking their daughter and her boyfriend and his 2 children. I mean, it is such a mixed bag of travelers now, and it's fun. And they have different requirements. And so the personalization is what we bring to the table, and it's what we love to bring to the table.
And that's big. Everybody they want an experience.
Experience.
That's on a deeper level.
Right.
Before.
And we have a number of really great tour companies in the Black Hills as well. I mean, that do, like GeoFun Trek. I call them the brainiacs in the tour business in the Black Hills. They take you on an educational experience. And then Carrie with Black Hills Adventure Tours. I mean, she takes you hiking. She takes you on Jeep ride. She takes you on an ATV tour. She takes you on a bicycle trip. So, and there's a number of companies like that that just do unique things. And then to put that customer together with that person is a great marriage, and people are thankful for it because the people we work with, for the most part, we are a foreign destination. They've never been here before. They might be 2 or 3 states away. They know nothing about us other than they know Mount Rushmore, and they've heard of this place called Sturgis. And they know there's a mountain carving someplace nearby. I mean, those are the three things people know about. Truly, those are the three things. When they don't know much at all, those are the things they know about.
And the other cool thing to piggyback on some of that too is when they come, you know, they obviously, a lot of people come, they want to see Mount Rushmore. That's kind of their bucket list item. And then they want to, what else is there to do in the city and in the Black Hills?
Right.
And our job, our roles are to help them find those hidden gems and share that. So we're not only promoting Mount Rushmore and Crazy Horse and Custer State Park, but we're talking about these, you know, when you look at Rapid City's downtown area and how it's flourished, we talk to them about the hidden gems downtown, and we talk about Dinosaur Park and the rich history that park has. And just try to get them, after you see Mount Rushmore, what's next? And we try to get them into our community. So the benefit there to everybody, it just kind of trickles down. We always, I mean, one of the questions I think Melanie sent that was going to be on here is, whatever we do, I mean, how does tourism impact you and your business? What's in it for you guys? And with that trickle down effect, it starts with the visitor where they come to town and they may spend their money in a restaurant, but then that waitress that works in the restaurant, you know, she relies on that income, she might go get her hair cut, so it's impacting that hairdresser that's cutting her hair, and that hairdresser might go into a grocery store and buy groceries. So it's that trickle down effect. You know, you might not directly be impacted by a tourist walking into your business, but someone in the community is, and so it's always, I mean, it's just working together so well.
I like to even say, you know that favorite restaurant you love? It wouldn't be here if we didn't have this huge visitor industry coming to town. It just wouldn't be here. We'd have a few chains, but talking about some unique places that we all love to go, it won't be there. So it's amazing. I pulled some stats off the state's website, by the way. South Dakota, sdvisit.com. It's an amazing little website with amazing stats. And the Department of Tourism, I know they have a firm that does this, but you can go on there. And as an example, just on one page, I know national park or state park visits are down 3.9% right now. Well, that's because everything's flooded. Hotel occupancy across the state up 3.5%. Visitor spending, this is through April, up 3.1%. Tax revenue up 3%. In 2018, the end of the last year, this is what the whole picture looks like. $298 million in state and local taxes. That's a lot. $298 million generated in state and local taxes. There were 14 million visitors across the state. Spending was up 2.5%, and that was spending of $4 billion, and they do a multiplier to get to that $4 billion. 8.9% of all jobs in South Dakota are visitor related. And then here's a key, I think, because this is my, if I were in charge of the world, because I would do some things, but anyway. Okay, 2/3 of the room demand growth in 2018 occurred in September and October. So, like I say, we're full in July. I mean, industry doesn't like to hear me say that, but you know, we're pretty damn full in July. I take enough phone calls to see what the demand is in July. We need to figure out a way to get them here at other points of the year, and that's why when I see this stat that 2/3 of the demand is September and October, that's phenomenal. That's saying we are truly being discovered. It's also saying the boomers, and I don't know what's going to happen after the boomers boom.
And active adults
And
traveling
active,
without kids.
yeah.
Kids want to go on vacations without their kids. Or people want to go on vacations without their kids now too. So it's like, you
And
know,
September is an
that's
amazing
cool.
month.
Yeah.
So somebody wants to do that back here?
On your list.
Keep fair.
Yeah. So anyway, this is just a snippet of stats that you'll find on that website. So if
But
you're
to
into
add
that.
to it too, here's one, because I have my stats too, but because they're so interesting, and not
I
to
do too.
bore you with all these stats.
I love it. I love
But
it.
it's just, to us, it means big things. So when you said 8.9% of all jobs in South Dakota are visitor related. So in 2018, I thought this was really cool too, and I think it impacts all of us. 55,000 total jobs were supported in the travel industry statewide. 10,000 people were employed specifically in Pennington County alone that were travel-specific roles. So it's huge. I mean, the impact in our community is huge. If you took away tourism, it would be detrimental to our community.
And you know what
really
the
peaceful in the northern hills.
yeah, see, you know, you're like my husband. He goes, oh, come on. Those ATVs rolling up and down Nemo Road on a Sunday afternoon, it just drives him up the tree.
Rochford Road.
In Rochford
I mean,
Road.
I have one. But
Yeah, so do we.
They really, I mean, it's constant. I mean, I hear the sleds in the winter because of the Mickelson and so forth, and I ride that. But it's just amazing the amount of quads that are out there.
Yeah, and you know, they are their own worst enemy. You know, when you see some of the things that they do when they're off trail and it's illegal, yet the Forest Service they don't have enough people to police it. And, you know, truly, there's going to be a day that industry is going to be
They've already ruined it as far as
Oh.
the Forest Service is completely destroyed. It's caused more problems than they've ever solved.
I am totally with you on this. You know, and they can't police it. And they have.
There's way too many people.
Right. It's hit. Now, when you go to some of the other forest areas, like I feel like it's better managed. Like we spend a lot of time in the Grand Tetons and in the Bighorns. You just don't feel it's there. I think it must be either unaccepted or they don't have the trail systems that we have. Of course,
I'm not sure how developed it is on the Tetons. I've never rode up there.
but we have so many fire trails. I mean, there are over 5.
That's what I grew up.
Yeah.
Running the trails. Just, hunting.
So
and driving.
it's one of our dilemma. It's our dilemma. It's a dilemma.
Forest Service just put 4 new rangers on this summer just for the off-road trails. So we'll see how that goes.
That's good.
Well, and I think it's just that demand has just increased so much that we're trying to figure out how we're going to handle that because, 10 years ago we didn't have.
It's back to the experience.
Right.
It's back to that experience.
The quads are the largest small motor market now in the world. It's larger than motorcycles.
I mean, if you just look, just sit out here on I-90 and see how many people are coming
Bringing
back
them
and
in.
forth, bringing them in. It's amazing.
And when you talk to people on the phone, they want to know if the hotel parking lot can handle my trailer
Trailers.
with 4. Yeah, those are the questions you have. And how close am I to the trail? And, if you don't park someplace where you have immediate trail access, they have to be licensed. They have to be They have to be licensed in South Dakota. And you have to have a rear view mirror, a horn, a backup light, and light on your license plate. So anyway, this is probably one of our biggest dilemmas.
So speaking of questions, let's start opening up questions to the audience. What types of questions do you have for Stacie and Susan about the tourism industry? And just remember, when you ask your question, please state your name and your organization so we can continue to network out here as well. Whatever.
You want me to go first? Okay. Deanna, Becket, character coach. Aside from the four-wheeler or side-by-side dilemma, obviously growth, where do you see or what niches, what areas do you see growing over the next 10 years where industry may need to, or maybe it's an opportunity for entrepreneurs to be able to go, oh, I need to grab this opportunity and run with it and build it?
That's a really good question, and you probably have. One thing recently is the agritourism, the interest in agritourism, and I know South Dakota Tourism is really trying to promote that as well. But visitors want to come to the area and have this real authentic experience when it comes to maybe going on a ranch or just learn, and not just going on the ranch and watching, but they want to engage and get involved in that life and just learn from it because they come from the city and their children have never experienced it. So that is one.
And the other one that we hear all the time, and I don't know how we walk this path, but it's near and dear, and it's cultural tourism, the Native American. I mean, you know, here we are, minutes from the poorest county in the United States of America, Shannon County, or not, it's called Ogallala County now.
Dakota.
Yeah. And it's such a rich culture, and people want to see powwows, and the powwows are amazing. But how to connect all this together, because over the years, I know people over the years who have tried, and it just takes more than a 2 or 3 year try. It takes, you know, George Mickelson started it. And in fact, the last conversation I had with him, the Friday before his plane went down on Tuesday, he said, Susan, what are we going to do? How are we going to sustain our reconciliation? What can we, you know, it was heavy on his mind. But anyway, that is one of the, you know, I'm so pleased about Crazy Horse because, and Tatanka, and we also, the Journey Museum, those are 3 areas that we send people, and then the Red Cloud, so that you can get some experience with our Native American culture. But the day that the Native Americans bring that culture to us, more than us trying to get them, you know, they need to bring it to us, and they've done a pretty good job. But I think that's a big growth area.
I think that's actually probably the #1 growth area. Because when visitors come to town, that is probably the first thing they ask about is how can I, and we've been working.
I want to have dinner with they'll say this, I want to have dinner with that Native American.
Yeah.
I want to talk to him. I'm just going, wow, it's as simple as that. I just want to talk to somebody.
And just learn
Yeah.
about their, you know, we've been having some great meetings, and I'm sure, I know the state's trying to get, that's one of their top priorities is tribal tourism too, and so we've got a lot of, it's going to be a constant, something we constantly work on, but we've got a lot of great leaders from the different reservations that we work with, and even our board president is Whitney Rencounter, who is just an amazing leader in the Native American community, and he is just making strides to kind of, we just need to communicate with each other better and educate each other and appreciate that, and then we can, you know, when the visitors come, that's what they want to learn about as well, and they want to visit the reservations and understand and experience that lifestyle too.
So Ray Hillenbrand did so much for this community and for the Native American community. So I tell you, I don't know who's going to step up in that role, but he played a huge role. That can't last forever. But anyway, I see that as a big area of growth. And with the farm thing, I take it like maybe more of a, people love ranch days. You know, if you're involved in the international market at all, Wyoming and Montana kick us all over the place because we don't really have ranch days. They have ranch days. Now we have our first glamping destination, and it is pretty dang good. It's under the canvas. It's a nationally operated company. They're out of Bozeman, Montana. Okay, now here, you know, you guys are business to business. I mean, truly, this is an amazing company. It's just a couple out of Bozeman started this. They have glamping at the gates of most national parks in this country now. I mean, if you go down and see Sean Casey at Arizona, right there in Williams, they have a glamping as you go head north to the national park, to Grand Canyon. They have it at Zion. Now they have it in Keystone, so you can camp in Keystone, and literally they're on a hillside where you can see Mount Rushmore. So, and you pay a lot to do this, but it's an experience. And you have this cool tent with a bathroom. And what's really neat is that when they're done for the season, they come in with these trucks, they pick everything up. You can't see that they have been there. All their underground is covered, yet they have toilets, I mean, in their tents. So anyway, it's a great company, and what a concept.
J.D. Henderson with the Wrangle Construction Company. I was involved pretty heavily in tourism in this area at the turn of the last century. And back then we were, you know, I won't say struggling, but I mean we were trying to come up with ways to strengthen the shoulder season. But now, as you guys mentioned, or you ladies, excuse me, mentioned that the shoulder season now, September and October, it seems to me that it's actually every bit as hot as the summer season. So what steps have been made in the last couple of decades that have contributed? I mean, you mentioned this trend towards people traveling without their kids and so forth, but it seems like the bus tours in the fall have tremendously picked up over yesteryear. So, what are some ways that, that this success in the shoulder season has been implemented, and what would you attribute to that?
What company were you with, JD?
I was the director of the High Plains Heritage Center in Spearfish.
Okay.
And I was a vice chair. Back then they called it family approved attractions.
Yes.
I don't know what they call it
They're
now.
not anymore. They dismantled.
Not at all. Okay,
FAA.
let's do that.
Isn't that right? They kind of dismantled.
I think so.
Yeah, but anyway.
It was
So-
a big benefit back then. So.
Well, you know what, I'm gonna, there are some events in the fall that I think have really spotlighted our destination. One of them's called the Buffalo Roundup. And then the other thing, then the Buffalo Roundup and the Crazy Horse tie in, so she opens up another Volks March in the fall. So that's big. But bottom line is, it's the aging also of that boomer group that's traveling, and the people who are buying these coaches. Look at the coaches up and down this road. Look at the expensive RVs. The camping industry is off the charts.
It is.
I cannot tell you, the hotel industry is kind of flat. And but I'll tell you what, we're up every year. It's double digits. The campgrounds we work with are up double digits, and the only reason they're having problems right now is they got flooded a couple of weeks ago. But that whole industry, between the motor, who's on the motor coach? They're people my age. I'll never do that, but they are people my age.
Well, and they're bringing their children that came out to the Black Hills when they were little.
Yeah, that's a big
are
line.
now grown
Yeah.
with their kids, and
Yeah.
so they want them to experience the
Yeah.
same thing. And the grandparents have
Yeah.
the big RVs, and you're right, and they want to camp because they want that experience. They don't want to just go to a hotel room, which is tough for my business at least, but they want to go and camp and have this rich experience outside of the hotel room as well, and help give their kids these memories that mean a lot more. And so I think that's been a big part of it, as the aging process, as you said. And there's been this huge, and I know the national parks are doing a lot more promotion, but the national parks are just the place to be right now.
The national parks.
And we have, how many right here?
Yeah,
5.
5.
And then Custer State Park on top, which is an amazing state park. So that's been a huge draw. And I think that's helped. And in the fall, what better time to come? A little bit less busy. Now it's getting busier, but the weather's a little bit more milder. And so you're seeing those active adults traveling without kids, and then the boomers traveling when it's a little bit nicer weather.
Quick comment or question. I mean, it's neat to hear the growth and everything like that. I've had the privilege of traveling to the coast here the past couple of months, and it's still funny when you tell somebody you're from South Dakota.
They go,
They are so oblivious. You might as well say you're from
Right.
Antarctica. They're just like, what is there to do in South Dakota?
I
I had
agree.
a friend legitimately from DC who came to visit me and said she was surprised to see how many, that she thought she would see more dirt roads within the city. And anyway, that's besides the point. There's just a lot more room for opportunity, which is pretty neat. But so going back to what you're saying, all the neat heights that we have here, the neat experiences, the restaurants, I think within the Rapid and the Black Hills community, I think we all think the neat thing about that community is we all love to support each other and support other businesses, and to tailor to that authentic experience, I think a lot of people are talking to people who know somebody from there and going, oh, what place can I visit, or where should I stay, or the word of mouth as opposed to doing a Google search, unfortunately. So as a citizen, I mean, I've been in Rapid about 8 years now, but I still feel like maybe there's so much more for me that I'm not aware of, that I can visit myself, and then obviously do my due diligence and spread the word of mouth. So how does a resident better educate themselves on all those unique experiences and stay on top of all the new little businesses, restaurants, so they can obviously visit them themselves and support the local community, and as well as spread the word of mouth. So,
Well, I'll start.
Yes.
Because, visitrapidcity.com is the first place to start.
okay.
We obviously we built the site for the visitor, but the locals, it's such a value because it shows you, talks about all those hidden gems. And we even have a like a local section because these visitors want to talk to locals or hear from a local. What is there to do? What's the best hike for my family? And so we've got so much content on our website that as a resident, you can go to figure out events, attractions, maybe those hidden gems you never thought about, those restaurants that you didn't even realize were open. And we've got a blog and that dives a little deeper into that experience. And so that is a great resource to go to find all the different things to do and see, and we're always updating it. But we also have, we want area businesses to work with us and partner with us because we're a nonprofit organization, and what we want to do is just let everybody else know what there is to see and do. And so we've got a partnership program, but we also, if you're in Rapid City, there's great opportunity just to be listed on our website at no cost, and it helps to get your name out there, get your business out there, or just share with us your business, whether it's a pamphlet or something, because those businesses that interact with us the most and share with us, here's what's new, here's what I've got to offer, even clinics. Visitors come to town and oftentimes they need to go to urgent care or something, and they come to us, where should we go? And so there's all kinds of different businesses you think a visitor wouldn't even touch, but we're there to help spread that word, whether it is word of mouth on the phone, they walk in our visitor center, or sharing it on our website or our social media. We have various social media platforms that we're always pushing content out, helpful information. And on our Facebook page, we've got probably now over 7,000, probably closer to 8,000 local residents following it because it's helpful information even for, a resident to find things to do. So that's one great resource. And as an organization, we're always wanting to promote things to do in the area, and it doesn't have to be an attraction, or it doesn't have to be a restaurant either. The little boutiques, the shops, visitors want that unique item, and they want to take, little trinkets and little gadgets or memorabilia, or they just want to shop. And so some of those things are...
What are some of the things you like to do?
Everything you guys have talked about. It's just, I can just very much relate to that authentic experience. I was in Spokane just this past weekend, and I for a wedding I was kind of by myself, and I wanted to eat at a local place that unique to Spokane, and I was actually kind of upset because the spot I picked wasn't very good. But it's like, I wish I had that word of mouth, or somebody would have said, hey, go to this location, or I would have known that. I just did a Google search
And I always like to say, go onto the chamber site or call a chamber, and no offense, my irritation with calling a chamber, like when I'm getting ready to travel, like I always go to the Red Lodge Music Festival, and the first year I went, I called the chamber and I started asking her questions, and they have to be so beige.
But we do not.
But you guys don't. They're so beige, they don't want to recommend somebody over somebody. I'm going, all I want you to do is tell me which hotel is closest to the Friday night venue and that has a bar, or whatever it was I was looking for. Well, if you go onto our website, you can see 5 different properties, so I know what you're saying. I like a recommendation, and we give recommendations, and we can only give recommendations of places that we have been and experienced. And I'm the one in our office that really experiences, and then I train them, and then we go on fam tours. But one of the things we should maybe do at some point is have a locals fair, a travel fair, and just invite locals, because like this year, they have that tear-off map with all the breweries and wineries. It is a great reference. And then the other thing is, like hot springs, that town is so unique. And if you have kids and you haven't taken them to the Mammoth site, for that art, for the educational program, signing them up for one of their digs, and they do it 3 or 4 times a day. That is the coolest thing, and they have a new spa there. Then you go to the Badlands. Now, have any of you done the Minuteman tour? Okay, so, oh my God. Okay, they only take 6 people down at a time. The only way you can get on that tour is to call moi. We handle all of their reservations for them. Right now, the earliest you can get on is about August 10th. It's so booked up. But anyway, and I love it when the local calls and said, gee, can we, and I'll say, you know, I'll tell you when you can first get in and when you need to call, because I like to, I really like to share with the locals. And when we get a South Dakotan calling us, planning their trip to the Black Hills, I'm so thrilled because I love it when our own South Dakotans are experiencing this place. You know, and I know there's this new hiking, not new, but this hiking addict, and I have to trail addict. I love the book, but I do not want anybody else. I just want it to be us.
Right.
And I'm going on the phone, I go, how did you hear about that place? Well, I got that trail addict book. I go, oh my God.
Well, and now there's the Black Hills National Forest has this amazing app. If you are a hiker, I would download that app.
Yeah, that's
because
another
then
one.
it'll actually, it's got GPS built in too. So if you're on a trail and you have your phone with you, it'll tell you interesting facts about that area or that spot. And all the maps are there, but it gives you ideas, different skill level. But it's an amazing app, and they're doing some really big things for the National Forest as far as making sure people understand how to care for the forest, the safety and the respect, and then the experience you can have. So,
And you know, just bop out to the Black Hills Visitor Center, talk to Rita at the front desk. They have everything right there.
yeah, or visit Rapid City. We
Or
have
everything there.
And we
But
will
you guys
tell
are more Rapid City. I'm just saying for the whole area.
Well,
Okay,
we sell the Black
everything.
Hills too, because we know people are coming to Rapid City probably because of Mount Rushmore and the Black Hills.
Probably
So
I have to give you credit.
So yes, we're going to promote the city, but our staff, we have some very big hikers on staff too. So we're going to share our personal experiences plus share some
Yeah,
local experts.
exactly.
And we talk about Rapid City, of course, but we talk about the Black Hills a lot because that's why they're coming, right?
Has there been any work done, I just see all the hotels being built, has there been any work done to build up the campgrounds?
There are some in Custer that we work with. The whole place is for big, and they're big rigs. In Hill City, here's a good example, the Crooked Creek. When you look at what's available right now, they're all for like 25 feet or less, and they sit empty. So they're going to be revamping that whole campground for big RVs, because you're right. By the time you put 5 slides out and bring your ATV on a trailer and your motorcycle, there's just no room.
And your extra vehicle for your
And your extra vehicle. Now, the other thing, another trend that we need more of, and that is you drive your motor home and you park it, and you need something to drive. And if you don't pull something with you, and we've got campgrounds that now have car rentals tied to them, and and they're sold out all the time. So we not only book the campsite, but we'll book the car rental for them as well.
And now you can rent scooters too out in the hills.
I worked at Mount Rushmore for 6 summers. And
What?
I worked at Mount Rushmore for 6 summers, and that was like the best experience for me
Yeah.
to really engage in the community.
Yes.
And we had, I don't remember what it was, but we got to go to all of the attractions for free and get to experience them. And I think if there was more cheaper local attractions that we could go to,
You know what,
as
there are.
locals, we would.
And we just need to have that group, we need to have that travel show, because every spring we run a special, and you have to buy it by June 1. And we have a whole bunch of buy one, get one free attractions, like Reptile Gardens. And then once you go to Reptile Gardens once, and you're a local, they'll give you a card, and you can come all summer long. So there's some things like that we just probably need to hire this media person, social media person, and get our word out better. But no, there's some really good deals, because I think our local businesses really love having the locals come by because that's where a lot of their business comes from. WOM. As much as we like to say how fancy our advertising is, I talk to more people. I'm just talking about when we handle the state of South Dakota's calls. We'll go, well, so how'd you find our phone number? Well, I have a vacation guide from 10 years ago that a friend of mine gave me, or I saw it in Rand McNally, or my aunt gave it to me, or I was there as a kid. This is the number one, and I want to bring my kids back there. That's the number one thing we hear.
We call the shoulder season the newlyweds and the nearly deads. And it just has always stuck with me.
And now some of the newlyweds are the nearly deads too.
Yes. You know, one of the big things is just showing that great hospitality.
Yeah, it's number one.
You know, when they're in our city and in our businesses, if they feel welcome and you provide them, if they look lost, help them. If they ask them if they have questions, ask them where they're from, try to connect with them, that then they'll go back and that word of mouth, they'll tell their friends, they'll tell their family. What an experience. And one of the most common things we hear is how great and how friendly the people are here. And that is one of the things that's going to keep people coming back or spread that word of mouth, is that hospitality and just helping them.
And I'm not sure what businesses you're thinking about, but I'm with you on that. And also, people that are think of themselves as being in the economic development world don't realize they're in our visitor industry world, or they don't. There's kind of a separation there in a sense. Like they say our jobs are low pay and whatever, but their economic development world needs to take on this customer service. I mean, I do most of my shopping in Rapid City. There's a store, I use this example. There's a store I have to go to because it's the only place I can get the dog food that I feed my dog. And I dread every time I go there. So I buy 4 bags at a time so that I can limit my number of times to that store to maybe 3 or 4 a year. Because the customer service is bad. Every time I take a cart, there's a wheel that's broken and I'm going around like this trying to get through the store. I'm hauling big bags and I'm a big girl and I can haul them. And there's service people all around. They never come up and say, hey, let me just help you with that. And you get to the counter and they're all having a bad day. And so I always try to go, I always try to lighten them up because I believe in bringing sunshine wherever I go. But I mean, those are, because I'm a visitor to Rapid City. So, I mean, I think the customer service thing is absolutely, and we are good at it. Our Black Hills, we are good at it. So, and then looking for some of these, you know, like car rental companies. I mean, campgrounds, maybe there are some business opportunities. Ranch vacations, maybe there are some business opportunities.
And just educating yourself is what there is to see and do, because oftentimes these visitors will come up to, whether it be a front desk staff or somebody in a store, and just ask, what is there to do? And one, just recently, a few weeks ago, we overheard a hotel front desk person talking with the visitor, and the visitor asked, what is there to do in Rapid City? And they said, oh, there's absolutely nothing.
Yep.
And we were just like, oh my gosh, our community is so rich and there's so many things to do. And so it's just about educating your staff or yourself on what there is to do in Rapid City, and the Black Hills, but just there's so many, you don't realize the impact you have on that person when they're wanting just a little bit of information.
And you're a coach, and I so admire what you're doing, because one of our biggest challenges, not only the UTVs, but it's finding employees, training employees, ongoing training. It is everybody's biggest challenge. And trusting your business, I mean, when you're not there, to that person who's at the front desk, or in my case, that person that's answering the call, I mean, it is our biggest challenge. And I don't know the solution to it, but it starts at the top. And the owner of that company, it has to be a priority to the owner of that company in order for that front desk person to do that job right.
Exactly.
well, let's give it up for Stacie and for Susan.